Welcome, manifestors, to Wired Wednesday. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the root chakra. It's the first chakra. It's at the base of your tailbone, and it's the first energetic point in your nervous system in the whole flow of electricity in your body. Okay, so I'm going to quickly explain what it is energetically. That's the emotional side, and physically what parts of the body is connected to. That's the physical side of the root chakra system. Okay, so first off, the physical side that the root chakra controls and is connected to is your feet, your legs, your large intestine, and all the bones, your entire skeleton. Okay, that's the physical parts of your body that the root chakra is in communication with, and the energy from it or in it is what functions those things. Okay, and the energy is also the transmission of communication to your brain of that system, that part of your body, so that your brain can make adjustments accordingly if things are off. It's the communication between those parts of your body and your brain. So that's the emotional part. So feelings are like linking the physical and the electrical. And the feeling is what you feel. That's how you know what your gas gauge is at, you might say. Okay, so you know that it controls that part of your body. Now the emotional side of it, how do you know if it's working properly? Okay, so first off, the energetic side of the equation, your root chakra operates in the frequency range, because it is frequency that it's measured. They can put things on you and everything and measure frequencies from different emotions. That's why it's emotion, energy in motion. Anyway, so your root chakra functions approximately in the range of 0 to 100 hertz. All these different emotions have different frequencies of their own, and they kind of overlap, and certain situations and so on will make a frequency that would say normally be one emotion. That frequency is actually felt on that person at a it's kind of like tuning into a radio station, and when you're right on it, it's perfectly clear. But sometimes when you're in a certain place or not located properly or whatever, you kind of have to dial it off the actual channel to catch it clearer, or sometimes another channel will kind of overlap one other ones as you're going from one place to another. Well, that's kind of how frequencies work in your body too. They have average frequency ranges for different emotions, and everybody's different, but kind of like one kind of car and a different kind of car, same systems function a little differently because the computer is different in the brain, all that. Okay, so I'm trying to explain this in a way so that even if you're not interested in the actual numbers, you can see. And then really the numbers are irrelevant, but it's kind of relevant for today's conversation, and if you stick to the end, you'll see why. I have a bombshell, kind of controversial, connect the dots scenario that I'm going to bring at the end of this, after you understand how the root chakra works and how important it is for you. Okay, so it operates in the range of 100 up to 100 hertz, in that range. Okay, a balanced, emotional balanced chakra will have you feeling grounded and stable and safety, feeling like that. it supports the physical body. You feel nourished and stable and good in your skin type of thing, okay? That's a balanced root chakra. An unbalanced root chakra will have you feeling fear or grief or anxiety or shame or off balance, instability or guilt, despair, okay? Blame, all those kind of emotions are from an unbalanced root chakra, okay? So, and when I mean unbalanced, I mean like the communication is distorted. It's being interrupted. Something else is messing with the message, okay? So when your brain's getting that message, it's not necessarily correct, so it's trying to make corrections on to that part of your body when the message it's getting is not correct, stuff like that. Chiropractors, when they, you know how when your spinal cord is interrupted, you become paralyzed or whatever, depending on where. Well, that's because the communication, it's like a hose, and it has the optics. It's just like cable system. It has light, liquid. Your spinal cord has liquid in it. Anyway, I'm getting off balance here. Point is, this is how an unbalanced one is. Okay? Fear, grief, anxiety, all those emotions are felt when your root chakra is unbalanced. Okay, so how does that relate, say, an unbalanced in the physical? So if it's feet, legs, intestines, and all your bones, think about this. Bones, arthritis, osteoporosis, all the bone diseases. Your legs, all your leg issues, cramps, Charlie horses, varicose veins, swollen legs. Now, first off, I am not a doctor. I am not diagnosing anything here. As with any video you ever watch, please use discernment. I had to say all that. And this is for entertainment purposes only. For you too. Okay. Theory. My opinion. Small intestine or large intestines? Irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut syndrome. The list goes on for intestinal issues. Bowel cancers. Probably shouldn't have said that word. I might get tagged. I don't know. Okay. Entertainment purposes only, YouTube. But knowing what the root chakra does communication with, those physical areas, then you might want to consider that any of the illnesses that people experience that are within those physical areas could possibly be an electrical issue and not necessarily a chemical issue, like drugs and stuff that need to be done. It could be an electrical issue. Okay, with that being said, we know that these emotions happen in a grounded or ungrounded root chakra at this frequency. Between 0 and 100 hertz is where this root chakra functions and operates. Now we're at the end where I'm going to drop potential bombshell. Have you ever been, especially lately, but have you ever been like scrolling on your phone And I know we already have things that listen to us because, I mean, it's obvious when you have ads popping up after you're just talking about something. Like, we know that part. Or at least you should know that already. If you don't, surprise, they're watching us. So anyway, but how about when you were just thinking something? Have you ever literally just been thinking something and then you go scrolling on your phone and bunch of ads for that? I know I have. Or just been thinking something and then all of a sudden you get emails in your junk spam or something all on that topic, or you open your Google search or whatever and all the things that you were just thinking about just happen to be right there. I think I know how that's happening. And this is just my opinion, but knowing what I already know from studying this stuff, and then knowing what we're putting together here with the whole, they're listening in on everything, and with all the new upgrades to personal technology, like Fitbits and Oura Rings and things that check your blood pressure and all these devices that run on power of some form, usually a rechargeable battery, they are already connected to our bodies, obviously. It's called W-band, whole body network, whole body area network. If you search Sabrina Wallace, she gets right down to the whole scientific, right down if you want all the proof, dates, everything, okay, when it all this technology came out. We've had it for years and years, long before we're just getting it now as toys. So, with that being said, I want you to look at any device you have. Here's my phone charger. See that? This is an Apple product. I don't even have an Apple phone anymore or anything, but regardless, you can see all the writing in there. You won't be able to see it, what it says, but if you look on your own, look on the specs where it says 120 volts, DC, AC, all that stuff, you'll see 60 hertz or 50 hertz or 50/60 hertz. I think they know that we're catching on because a lot of the newer stuff now, it just says complies with FCC regulations. And if you actually go online and look up the hertz that any device sold in Canada or US will function at, I think Canada, US is 60 hertz, and I think in the UK it's 50 hertz. But the devices are made so that they can function in either one. So that gives it even a bigger range. Point is, all our devices, before they ever became able to record stuff like our phone, your speakers, your toaster, this is a light that goes inside one of those salt lamps. If you look on that, I don't know if I'll be able to show it on the camera. Will it zoom in? Maybe not. Oh, right above attention there. It says 60 hertz. Hertz is a frequency. Our emotions, energy in motion, for the root chakra has a frequency between 0 and 100 hertz. It's the same measurement because it's the same thing. It's a frequency. When we have events, let's call them, that happen around the world that really, really, really upset people, make them feel fear, grief, anxiety, shame, guilt, grief. 911 for one. Most recently, the ostriches in Canada. The Nova Scotia massacre. Any of these school shootings. Pretty much any time you turn on the news, this is what you're getting, right? So if this is what you're feeling, physical and electrical together, if that's the electrical end of what your system is, then that's accessing this chakra. That's opening the door to you through that frequency. And maybe before they had the technology to listen as well as they do now, maybe they were just triggering it by having all this electrical stuff around us that's functioning at 50 or 60 hertz. Do you see the dot I'm trying to make here for you to connect to other dots? I'm afraid if I get too much to actually draw on the line, YouTube might take this down. But every electronic device in the US and Canada function at a frequency within that range. 50 or 60 hertz, to be exact. Same with the UK. So every time there's a electronic device functioning in your home, so the more is more. Like some of us have freaking fridges that talk to you over your phone. Like we're talking, just about everything is electronic. So these devices are either pumping out or receiving both, I would assume, because frequencies go both ways. It's a communication. That's why you can hear words on your radio at a certain frequency, because that's the bandwidth that they send the communication over, and it can go both ways. Two-way radios, see? So here's my point. If you're not already at that frequency because you're normally a pretty happy-go-lucky person, or your chakra is actually balanced, so you're grounded and stable, and all that stuff, they could easily trigger a mass event that will automatically, through your compassion, because you're an awesome person, will feel these frequencies. I don't know about you, but I felt a lot of sadness and grief on any one of those events I just mentioned. I was definitely even if it was just a short period of time or a long period of time. I don't like to think it, but I'm pretty sure that I'm correct that these happen particularly to drag on, like that they all either happen immediately and it's a big oh my God, and then it drags on forever afterwards, or it drags up to the event and boom, and then it's a big deal afterwards to trigger something else. Every event will trigger one of these emotions within the masses. There, in my opinion, then opening the doorway, making our body tune into that radio station, to that two-way radio of that frequency, therefore letting the communication between whoever's on the other end of that frequency and your body, without realizing it. You just opened a door. And all the devices function on that frequency, communicate back and forth on that frequency. I'm proposing that these events happen on purpose to make the masses go into that frequency. Then we're already watching the news or on our phones or on YouTube or whatever, seeing all of this, keeping us in that frequency as long as possible so that they can plant seeds of thoughts or illnesses or whatever, something that disrupts, unbalances the root chakra. As long as they get in, I say they, take that however you think it's on the other end of this reasoning. Probably follow the money would be a good way to find that. But do you see the connection here? Once the communication door has been opened, that's why Bill Gates is in charge of medical stuff. Can you connect those dots? He's a computer guy, not a doctor. Now, do you know why? Can you connect those dots? I think you can. I think you see where I'm going with this. So, I'm not trying to scare you with this. I'm trying to inform you with what I think is going on here. And I think that if we want to starve there, I think it goes much deeper. Consider even our DNA can hold. Now you have to search this, but our DNA holds information, right? And apparently it can hold like several terabytes of information, one strand of DNA. If that's true, and they can access us simply by triggering our emotions, are we being used as storage units for, I don't know, Bitcoin? Where do they go Bitcoin mining online? Where are they mining? What are they mining? The flock? The sheep? Is that why they want us bigger? More blood, more DNA, more surface area? I don't know. I mean, this is a rabbit hole that could go really deep. But I wanted you to understand the connection. You use your discernment. Think about, there's a reason they didn't want us to know even about our chakra systems. There's a reason they didn't even want us to know about our biofields. Oh, it's invisible. As long as they don't see it, they'll never believe it's there. We know it's there. They measure it. Again, go see Sabrina Wallace. She'll tell you all the mechanics and the proof, the science, documented on, like, she's got the receipts. I'm just trying to make you connect dots without you having to go digging on your own if you don't have time. Lots of people don't, but everybody needs to know this. So you might want to consider, maybe if you're not using something, unplug it. Maybe don't use your phone while it's plugged in charging. That's a pretty direct connection there. Your Wi-Fi routers, yep, they operate on 60 hertz. I don't even have Wi-Fi. I use more data on my phone. I pay for that instead. And then that way, at my fingertips, I can shut off the whole network, no matter where I am. And it doesn't matter if I'm out of Wi-Fi range from my Wi-Fi router or anything like that to do something, because it's all from my phone and it's with me. So I can just shut it right down. I can shut off the network. I can shut off the data, everything, all at my fingertips. So I don't even have Wi-Fi. The light bulb that's shining right now, lighting this up, it's an LED, but even on that, it says 60 hertz. Because it's considered electronic, it's LED. So everything is a potential, if it's electronic and it's plugged in, it's a potential energy harvester, in my opinion. In my opinion, YouTube. My opinion. I'm just trying to show you some dots here and how they connect. That one. Your devices. Any electronic device. Your laptops, your computers, your alarm clocks. They all function. Right there. Okay? Don't be afraid. Be informed. Okay? You can unplug these things when you're not using them. They don't have to stay plugged in. Right? So, I think that's it for Wired Wednesday. I wanted you to get that information. Hopefully YouTube doesn't censor this, but we'll see what happens. And that is Wired Wednesday, the root chakra. Maybe next Wednesday I'll do the next chakra up, which is the sacral chakra. And that also, just to add to this, the frequency of the sacral chakra is 80 hertz to like 200. They kind of overlap, because what I said before, you can tune in and out of, different people tune in and out of these emotions at different frequencies. But basically, and they kind of blur from one to the next in frequencies. So this same thing that I'm connecting here for you also affect the sacral chakra. That's where you create from. We'll get to that next week. But that's where Wired Wednesday, your first electrical component in your body is your root chakra. And connect the dots. I know you can. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share. It really does help. Bye.